Hi, I'm Jacci Pillar, neurodivergent non-binary truth bomber, and this is Talk-ist, where we brainstorm ideas that never really come to fruition. Today's guest is Ki Hayward, disability and trans activist, speaker, and all-round rat from the Ballarat who's been in Geelong too long.
G'day, how are you?
Hi, great to see you.
Good to see you too.
So thanks for being on Talk-ist.
Thank you for having me.
And you're most welcome. And this is something I call, you did what?
Yes, I did what? So over the course of the last, over 7, 8, nearly 9 years, I've been involved in activism and advocacy across a number of areas, namely across disability and LGBTIQ issues, both of which I have very obvious lived experience of. I also am an advocate for young people in nursing homes and have had a bit of experience in the housing space as well. I'm a community development student aiming to, I suppose, better my opportunities in that area and seeking work within those fields as well.
And you're only 32.
Yes, only 32.
How scandalous.
I know, right?
It's just like, you know, there's this current obsession with lived experience.
Yes.
And then when people do have significant lived experience, they often say you're too young to have the lived experience that you have. And the other end of the pendulum is someone like myself who has, you know, a range of qualifications, and they're interested in my qualifications until I say I'm autistic. And then my lived experience becomes a problem.
Yes.
So I just wanted to talk about you. You were one of the first young people to talk about being in aged care.
Yeah, so from my personal experience, after long-term illness and a diagnosis of a stage 4 pressure area back in 2012, after a lot of hospitalisation, a 3-month stay in a transitional care facility, which happened to be in an aged care setting, I was then put into aged care, for which I was meant to only stay there for 3 months, but that ended up kind of being an extended stay for over, 7 years. So that sort of led me on my path to, in effect, getting damn angry.
Yeah.
Getting fed up with the injustice, not only that I was in, but the fact that many thousands of other young people, not only in Australia, but globally, are facing this issue. I got to the point where I had enough.
And it's become a hot topic recently, but this is a while ago for you.
Yeah.
And I had to sort of reflect on how I would have gone as a young person in aged care. And unfortunately, my special interest, as it gets called to autistic people, because we're not allowed to have passions, was things like war crimes and why people are evil. So I would have been corralling all these poor...
Us people with disabilities, we must conform to the norms of normal society. Don't you know that?
Yeah, well, I know, and clearly I didn't. So as a teenager in an aged care facility, I would have been probably kicked out for harassing everybody that served in World War II. We had to find out what their experiences were, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
And my camera just went way out of focus, and I have no idea what is ASIO listening or something. Hello. That was really quite bizarre. Oh boy, don't we live for the studio? So when you get angry like that, how do you find yourself using your voice? How does that come out for you? Are you like me? Do you use humour? Do you use humour when we're told it's a bit inappropriate to use humour?
I think the best thing I've learned over the last maybe especially in the last 5 to 6 years, is that exact same thing, is humour. Humour has actually gotten me through a lot of the experiences over the last 7 years. Otherwise, if I'm honest, I don't think I would have coped as well as what I did have if I didn't have that sense of resilience, sense of strength, sense of humour. I would have dug myself in a deep, dark hole.
Yeah, I think it's a really powerful thing for many of us. And, it was funny because I was just saying before we went on, I was talking about how I have an assistance dog now and how that means that suddenly I've lost all my invisible disability privilege, which I'm not really sure exists, because bigotry is still very visible for an autistic person. For me, I experience bigotry every day. The same, people often talk about it being an invisible disability. I'm like, it's not, because it's how I engage in the world, and I'm constantly modifying myself or finding myself modifying myself for the world around me, and just in a different way.
Yeah.
So the sort of, the conversations we're having around mobility aids, for me, communication is a disability aid. How I, and I'll often say when I'm filming these sort of things, I'll say, okay, I've just got to get my head around this. It'll take longer and I depend on scripts and things like that. But one of the things that's getting up my nose at the moment is apparently we're not supposed to celebrate our mobility aids and our communication aids. And I'm like, what?
My butt is attached to a chair pretty much 24/7. I'm proud of this chariot of mine. Always have been. And I also happen to be legless. Boom, boom. Not yet blind. Get it? So, yes, I'm also a trans femme double amp leg. I have been since 2009. But dealing with two very visible disabilities, people seem to often make assumptions about your abilities, your inabilities, your capabilities, what have you. And like we've been talking about, our assumed life experience or experience as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is this pendulum between qualifications, like a binary. And as a non-binary person, I'm like, what? Seriously? No.
Yeah.
Do we have to apply binaries to everything, even to your experience?
Exactly.
It's just bizarre. But I'd just like to wrap it up there for the moment. But thank you so much for telling me a bit about you did what.
Yes.
And we thank you for being on Talk-ist, and we'll see you next time.
No worries. Thank you.